Yo guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'll be covering on the updates for the OCR new launches in 2026 and also a little bit on the supply and demand dynamics in the OCR region and potentially how this can affect the resale market in the OCR region. So today, if you are a buyer looking in the OCR region or even a seller or owner in this area, I think this will be quite relevant and important information for you. So stay tuned if you want to find out more. Okay, so for those of you that's not too familiar with how Singapore is actually segmented, over here I have the entire Singapore map, and in today's video we'll be focusing on the outside of central region. So this is also highlighted in blue color on the map itself. Okay, so right now let's do a recap of what has happened so far in 2025 in terms of the OCR new launch market. First up we have is Faber Residence achieving a very impressive 86% sales at 2160 PSF. Next one we have Lentor Central, average of 2002 PSF, 93% sold. Springleaf Residence 92% sold at 2175 PSF. Canberra Crescent 40% sold, 1974 PSF. We have Parktown Residence, sold about 1000 plus units on the launch weekend, 2360 PSF. Alta sold 65%, 2537 PSF. And Bagner House 63% sold at 2490 PSF. Now you can see I kind of segmented it into two parts. So on the left here we have like Faber Residence, Lentor Central, Springleaf, and also Canberra Crescent. Generally these are like the more ulu areas in Singapore. Like for example Faber Residence, to be honest, yes, it's in the West Coast area, Clementi area, but to get to the MRT or to get towards Clementi area is still quite far away. And also we have like, let's say, Canberra Crescent. So this one, in this area, generally it has been dominated by a lot of ECs. It might pose a competition in the resale market. And also last but not least, we have Lentor Central and Springleaf. So these are both along the Thomson East Coast line, and generally they are still not very developed in terms of the area itself, so it will be kind of lacking in terms of amenities but these are all still in the 2000 PSF, 2001 PSF range. And I think for Canberra Crescent, definitely the units already moved quite a bit since August itself And on the right side, we have Parktown Residence, Alta, and Bagner House. For Parktown, this is integrated development at Tampines area, and then for Alta, we are going to be in the heart of Clementi, and for Bagner House is going to be near MRT, and it is also a freehold development. But all this, you can see we already have a much higher price tag as compared to what we see on the left side. So let's say you see Parktown 2003 plus, Alta 2005 plus, Bagner House 2004 plus, almost 2005. So these are already most of the prices accepted in the OCR region. And then you can see even for Bagner House and Alta, despite its price tag of like 2005 plus, 2004 plus, the market already sold 60+% on launch day. And today, fast forward about a few months later, you can go and check it out. The take-up rate for Alta and Bagner House is definitely much higher than the launch day already. Another recent news in the OCR GLS area. So this is the Upper Thomson GLS. So this is right beside Springleaf MRT. WeHo Holdings leads a 5-way tussle for Upper Thomson GLS site with a bid of 1062 PSF PPR. So for those of you that's familiar with Springleaf Residence, the land bid price was around 900 PSF PPR. So this one represents a 150 PSF PPR gap. So definitely this is going to be very good news for the Springleaf Residence owners. But today, if you are going to be entering this new GLS site, this is also a mixed use and you are looking probably at 2027 for the launch. Okay, so I would say overall this is quite aggressive behaviors from 5 developers, and this was awarded just last month, October 2025. So just a gut feel for this plot, because it's so-called integrated, it's mixed use together with the MRT, it has a retail component. I would say this should be starting off in the 2223 PSF range in 2027. So don't be surprised. Maybe some of you are still waiting for this plot, but this will be launching most likely in 2027. The price range should be around 2223, and depending on what is the remaining stock in the market, I won't be surprised if they actually increase the price even higher for the starting from PSF. Alright, so now that we have covered what has happened so far in 2025 OCR new launches, let's take a step forward and see what is gonna happen in the 2026 new launch market, because I think it's gonna be quite interesting. And today, if you are a buyer looking at the new launches coming up, you can also feel free to WhatsApp me at 8484-9302 if you found my analysis useful. First up we have here is the Tampines Street 94 GLS site. So this is also known as Pioneer Residences. The developers are Hoi Hub Realty and also Sunway Development. And for this development, this was bidded in 10th of October 2024, and the highest bid was actually at 1004 PSF PPR. This was a very hotly contested site with 6 bidders, and after all the marketing costs, construction costs, we come up to a price break even of about 1823 PSF PPR. Okay, so this is Tampines West site. This is mixed use and walking distance towards Tampines West MRT area. So preview, right, we should be expecting in March or April. So this one will be depending on when they get the approval for the preview lah. Yeah, but overall, if you look at the break-even price, right, of about 1008 PSF PPR, we add about 20% profit margin. This site should be potentially starting from also like maybe 21, 22 range. I won't be surprised if we can even hit 23, 24, because I know this will definitely be one of the hottest launch for 2026 already. If you guys know Tampines area, the current ones, probably Parktown Residences, already sold, I think 90% plus sold already. And if you know the PSF transacted there, I think 2003 plus. I'm not sure if we actually crossed the 2004 PSF mark, but that one will be classified under integrated development together with the MRT. But for this Tampines West side, the commercial component not going to be as big as the Parktown one, but overall it is still very near the MRT also. So this one is based on the project information that I have right now. Pioneer Residences target preview 14 March or 28 March of next year, and it is integrated to Tampines West MRT, integrated with shopping mall and within 1 km of St. Hilda Primary School. So this one we know is one of the more popular primary school in Tampines area already. And also developers Hoi Hub and Sunway, they are quite renowned in this Singapore context. And also we have 596 units, 1-story commercial podium, about 120,000 square feet of commercial space, and also got a childcare center, community plaza, and this is the land bid price. Now for the next upcoming new launch, this is at Dairy Farm Walk GLS. This one was sold in 21st January 2025, and this is also known as Nara Residences. So we are expecting preview on January 2026, so happening very soon in 2 months time. This one, the highest bidder actually bidded at 1020 PSF PPR. Number of bidders, we have 2 bidders only. And after we calculate all the construction costs and all the other marketing etc, right, break even comes up to be 2029 PSF PPR. So if you ask me, logically, right, it doesn't make sense that this dairy farm plot actually sells higher than what we see at the Tampines West plot. So that one also known as Pioneer Residences, because I think maybe they had a commercial component, that's why the PSF was a bit lower, but I don't think they'll launch cheaper than that. Stay tuned for that. But if you see here, right, based on what we see on the break even 2029 PSF PPR, I do expect the developers to be launching at minimally 23-24 range for a 20% profit margin. That's kind of the standard nowadays. Over here we already have the artwork done for Nara Residences. That's why the preview is going to be happening soon. For here, right, just some additional information. This is in the Dairy Farm Enclave area. Preview should be in January, 17 January. So for those of you that want to take a look at the preview together, you can feel free to reach out to me. So this one, the development overview, 2 16-story buildings and also 2 13-story buildings and 3 6-story blocks. So it's going to be like a gradual kind of height. 540 units and 4 commercial shops. Walking distance towards Hillview MRT, I think it's slightly, like maybe slightly less than 10 minutes, okay? And 2 stops to King Apple Park MRT, which is also a future Cross Island Line interchange. Quick access to BK and PIE. Is also surrounded by green nature rail corridor. And for schools wise, we have CHIJ, Lady Queen of Peace, and also Bukit Panjang Primary School. And in terms of lifestyle amenities, we are minutes away from Hillview 2 and Rail Mall and Bukit Panjang Plaza. And then for workplace convenience, which is near the new CMPB one-stop NS Hub. For the next plot, this one I think is going to be quite interesting. This is at Tengah Garden Avenue GLS. So this one also bidded by Hong Leong Guapoland, and the land bid price was 821 PSF PPR. Number of bidders we have 3, and estimated break-even price 1760 PSF PPR. So I think this is going to be quite interesting because this is a residential with also first story commercial, and it is right beside Hongkar MRT, which is the new Jurong regional line. I think this is quite an interesting plot because of its number of units. This one we are looking at 800 plus units, and also if you look at the land bid price together with the break-even price, it's probably going to be one of the more attractive ones really, because we all know Hong Leong and Guaco Land, what is their pricing strategy, their style, right? They want to sell out the units preferably 80+%, 90+% on day one. They don't want to have too much inventory on their hands so that they can further progress on their next development or next land bids. So over here you can see land bid price estimate break evens 1760. I do expect the launch probably about maybe 2001 2000 range for this Tengah Garden area. Of course, this area is going to be surrounded by quite a bit of ECs, maybe you got like Copen Grand lah, you got Lumina Grand, all this. So all this I would say do pose competition in the resale market, but overall we have to see how Hong Leong and Guaco Land actually designed this plot, because despite its EC competition, EC definitely will be still quite dense in terms of the development density. It's going to be quite close in terms of block to block distance. So it'll be quite interesting to see how Guaco Land and Hong Leong actually design this particular site plan. And next up, this one definitely is one of the more popular ones as well. So this is at Bayshore Road. This is right beside Bayshore MRT lah. This one is a full residential plot. Highest bidder 1388 PSF PPR. We have a total of 8 bidders. So this is very competitive. And Sing Hai managed to get this plot lah. So you already can see break-even price estimated is about 2528 PSF PPR, so definitely on the higher side already for OCR region. So we are expecting the launch price should be around 2700 2800 range already. And I think this one doesn't need much introduction because a lot of people have been using this as a new benchmark in the OCR region. But I do foresee even at this price tag, it should be still selling very well, because I think in this East Coast Park area, you have the resale like Costa del Sol, all this. It has still been selling very well, especially in the resale market. And do bear in mind that in this area there hasn't been much new plots other than maybe seaside residences, but that one is towards the Siglap, that area already. Yeah, so I do expect this plot to be very popular as well, despite its high price tag. Next up, we're going to be talking about is this Lentor Garden GLS. So this was bidded by Kingsford Group. This one, the PSF PPR turns out to be 920, so it's relatively low to what we have seen so far. Number of bidders, we have 2 bidders, and the break-even price estimate is about 1894 PSF PPR. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how Kingsford will actually launch this price. I do expect maybe 21, 22 range to be the average. I could be wrong because maybe we already see the strong performance at Springleaf Residence, so Kingsford might not price it cheap. And also one of the strong reasons why I really think Kingsford won't price it cheap is because we already have nearby sub-sale transactions at Lentor Modern. Over here you can see these are the 3-bedroom transactions all in the month of October. So what was surprising to me was the PSF that they transacted at. Here you already start to see, right, Lentor Modern, of course this is an integrated development. We already see 2004 PSF transacted for the higher floors, and this is non-harmonized PSF. So if you take into account harmonization, maybe you add a 5%, we should be looking at easily $2,600 per square feet harmonized. Okay, if you take a look at what is already transacted in the sub-sale market at Lentor Modern, can you imagine how Kingsford can actually price it at? And I won't be surprised even if Kingsford price it at 2004, 2005 PSF. It does still make sense because in the end, this is gonna be like an older development for Lentor Modern compared to what we expect for this Kingsford plot. And Kingsford plot, you see, it should TOP maybe 2030. So by the time Lentor Modern, more or less, it should stabilize in the resale market already. In today, right, 2025, we're already expecting maybe 2526 in the resale market. Can you imagine 4-5 years down the road, how much can this potential Kingsford GLS actually sell at? I'm quite confident in this area. Once the resale market stabilizes, especially with all the new launches that's gonna TOP, it should achieve quite a good benchmark pricing already, especially in the OCR region. Next up in the OCR launches for next year, we have these 2 plots from Chuang Grove. So I think initially it was 1 big plot, but the government decided to split it into 2 and then sell it as 2 separate GLS plots. These are both bidded by Sing Holdings and Sunway Developments. Based on the press release that they have done, they are looking to combine these two plots together so that they can sell it as a bigger development similar to what we see at Trump Park. So you can see for the first plot awarded in July 2025, we have highest bid is 1376 PSF PPR done. Number of bidders, we have 7 bidders. So this one, the break-even price, we are looking at 2512 PSF PPR. And then for the second plot is in September 2025, and this one is bidded at 1231 PSF PPR, and number of bidders we are looking at 5 bidders. This one break even a bit lower because the price is a bit lower, 2451 PSF PPR break even. So if you look at the average between these two, right, we should still be looking at about $2,500 per square feet in terms of break even. So launch price, we should be looking at $2,700, $2,800 per square feet for next year. But of course, we need to see if the government actually allows this to be combined into one big plot. This one really still subject to government announcement. But if this one gonna be combined together as one big plot, right, next year is gonna be quite interesting, because I do foresee this Trunk Grove is combined together with Thomson View. These two will be one of the hotter launches for the year already. So over here you can see this is the master plan for the Lorong Chuan area. So here just now, like I mentioned, this is the 2 plots with a plot ratio of 3, and then we can see if the government actually allows for these 2 plots to be combined together, because initially it's one big plot but they cut it into 2, and this is quite near towards Lorong Chuan MRT, and it's right beside Trump Park. So this is going to be quite important to take a look at, especially if you are looking at the Trunk Grove blocks, because these are the remaining units at Trump Park. So these are the cheapest 3 bedrooms. So you can see here, right, they no longer have any 3 bedroom compact already, they are all gone. The cheapest 3 bedroom we have now is at 0216, so this is at 1002 square feet non-harmonized layout. So this one includes the AC latch, okay? This one already at 3.171 million quantum and 2630 PSF. So don't be surprised if the Trunk Grove plots, right, any quantum below 3 million from 3 bidders. I won't be surprised if it's like snapped up immediately, because there is no longer cheaper supply in this area for the new ones. Last time video when I did for Trump Park, right, we already know in the vicinity there's not much options for the newer resale condos. I think there's limited number and overall this is already has been accepted in the market over here. So I do see very strong pricing from the developers as well. Next up, we have this very interesting plot in the Chencharu Close area. So this one was bidded in September this year. It's in Yishun area, and this is a mixed use development. Highest bid is 980 PSF PPR, quite low, but this do bear in mind this is a mixed use and they have quite a few requirements. So number of bidders, we have 3, and then you can see this development will be integrated with a bus interchange and also a hawker center. And also we will house community spaces and commercial space as well. So it's going to be quite interesting, because I do see a lot of similarities for this Chencharu Close plot versus what we see at Woodleigh Residences, because Woodleigh Residences also has an integrated development with a shopping mall, although it's not very big, but it's very good tenant mix. And also it has the bus interchange, MRT, they have the parks. Okay, they managed to do up the Bidadari Park. So me and my wife, we actually frequent the mall quite a lot because we stay in the area, and it's quite nice. It's a new vibes. The government, I can see why they're trying to do all these like satellite towns even in the Yishun area, because it has already proven very well in this Bidadari area. So this one, developer EVR Real Estate, Gamada and Holy Group. Break even price about 1975 PSF. And I do expect this one maybe launching is about 2324. Don't be surprised if it's even higher, because it's like a integrated mixed use development. Okay, so next up, this doesn't need much introduction as well. This is the Lakeside Drive GLS. So this one was concluded June this year as well. Number of bidders, we have 6 bidders, so definitely another very aggressive and hotly contested plot again. So highest bidder goes to CDL at 1132 PSF PPR, so definitely not cheap, especially if you're looking at Lakeside Jurong area. Break even price we estimate is about 2181 PSF PPR, so this is almost 2002 already. So that's why I think I was using this in comparison to what we see at Penrith. Definitely for Penrith, I think it was a no-brainer based on the pricing, because if next year this is the pricing we see in the OCR region, right, then I think what we can get at Penrith in the RCR region is definitely a steal, because Lakeside Drive, this plot by CDL, and we know CDL don't price cheap one. We should be expecting 2005 to 2006 PSF launch for this lakeside area. Yes, it has the MRT, it has Rulang Primary School, but overall it is still Jurong, and if this is the benchmark we are expecting for 2005-2006 range, don't be surprised for the higher floor units, we can even hit 2008, maybe even 2009. We don't know how high the developer will actually price it at, but these are the benchmark pricing for OCR region. And last but not least, earlier in the video, like I mentioned, this is the Upper Thomson Road Parcel A. So this one was awarded to WeHer Property Private Limited and GSC lah. So this one is 1062 PSF PPR, 5 bidders, break even we should be looking around 2086 PSF PPR. So this one definitely should be in the 2027 supply already. Don't expect this to be launching next year. I don't think they will be launching next year as well, because this one should be a little bit more lead time, because this is also a mixed use development with the MRT. So now that we already have gone through what is happening in 2025 and also what's going to happen next year, let's look closer, right, in numbers in the new launch OCR market. Over here we have the entire Singapore new launch supply that is still available. So for the whole Singapore, right, we're looking at 83 projects, 4,600 units available. OCR region, we have about 1,100 units remaining stock. RCR region, 2,300 units remaining. CCR, we have 1,100 units remaining. So you can see over here, if you watch my previous video back then in March, I did a video also in the OCR region. So this is an update on it, right? 25th March 2025, we have a total of 1160 units available in the new launch market. But today, fast forward about 8 months, we have at 6th of November 2025, we have 1104 units also remaining. So there's almost no change in the supply, which means whatever that's coming out in the OCR region, it's almost snapped up immediately. And that's why we can see, like let's say Springleaf residents, Faber residents, the takeout rate has been very strong, because the demand, or I would say maybe the supply, is not enough. That's why the remaining units that we see, despite 8 months of launches in the OCR region, we still see the units actually still drop in the remaining units. So this one will be quite important to understand what is going on this year, then we can kind of see what is happening next year as well. So over here I actually compiled all the supply, right, for the upcoming launches next year in the OCR region. The Tampines West plot, 585 units, Dairy Farm 540 units, Tengah Garden 860 units, Bayshore 515, Lentor Gardens 500, Lakeside Drive 575, Chuang Grove and the other Chuang Grove plot 2 about 1,100 to 1,050 units. Chencharu Close 875 units. So together with the current supply we have right now, total supply for next year will be a total of 6609 units. So right now when we see this number, does it mean that there's an oversupply or does it mean there's an undersupply? Okay, so let's find out more and see what is going on and what is the past trends on the demand and supply for the new launch and resale market. Over here we have the OCR new launch take-up rate. So this one purely in the OCR region. You can see from 2022 all the way to 2025, the volume represents each year, and the average amongst these 4 years, we are looking at about 4,100 units being snapped up per year. So if we look at the total supply for next year, 6,600 units, and then we minus off about 4,100, we should be looking at about 2,500 units remaining by the end of 2026. If you look purely based on numbers, we are looking at almost double of what we see in the new launch inventory for the OCR region. So what happens next? Usually, if there is increase in the new launch supply remaining, right, in the OCR region, very likely if the resale market also remains the same in terms of demand, then we might see a softening in the OCR resale market pricing, because it just means that if people can get a new launch maybe for similar pricing to the resale, might as well they just go for the new launch. But conversely, right, if the new launch pricing is too aggressive, then people might still prefer to buy back into the OCR resale market. But if we see this excess supply in the new launch market for next year for the OCR region, I do expect developers to be more cautious in their pricing, because it just means that they might have to compete with more units but with the same amount of buyers. But if you look at this past trend, right, we do see from 2023 all the way to this year, especially this year, 2025, right, in the OCR region, we have 5,000 plus, almost 5,700 units in the new launch OCR market being sold. So if actually 2026 we follow the trend that is happening in 2025 for the OCR region, the demand could tell a very different story, and we actually could see the supply ending up the same or even an undersupply situation, because the math that I did was using 4,100 units being transacted, but just based off this year, the deviation was about 1,005 units more. So if next year the demand still remain the same, we could very well see a shortage in the OCR new launch market, and this could very well push up the demand in the resale market as well. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Maybe do you think with the falling interest rate and higher land bid prices, will buyers actually still go for the OCR new launch market, or they will pivot and push up the OCR resale prices as well? Or we could actually see an oversupply situation? Maybe you guys can let me know. Now that we already know what's gonna happen in the OCR new launch market for 2026, let's take a look right at the historical average for the resale OCR buyers. So just now, like I mentioned, new launch average about 4,001. Where else now we can see for the resale OCR average, we are looking about 8,200 per year. And you can see OCR buyers per year, if we combine these two together, we are looking about 12,300 buyers per year. And you can see average per year, right, it is quite consistent one. So it means that if there is more buyers, let's say we look at 2025, if there's more buyers in the new launch market, very likely the resale buyers will be a bit lower. So the average will still come up to be about 12,000 buyers. And then you can see if let's say OCR buyers next year is still at 12,300, and then we minus off 4,100 buyers in the new launch market, we will have 1,500 units higher for the OCR new launch inventory compared to 2025. So this means that OCR developers very likely they will have to price cautiously, and OCR resale owners also might have to price cautiously because of the oversupply situation. So this might be a good news for buyers if you are looking at the OCR region. But if we see historically, maybe the drop in interest rate might still spur on more resale buyers. This one we are not completely sure. But if we just look at purely numbers, 12,000 plus buyers per year, the story could be different on the ground. But overall, I do see if the new launch market have an excess supply, then very likely the developers have to price cautiously. For those of you, maybe you have some questions regarding like, hey, I want a 3-bedroom type in this particular district, maybe in the Hillview area, or maybe is it in the Sembawang area, you can feel free to WhatsApp me at 84849302, because in the end, for the different bedroom types, there is really different supply demand dynamics in the particular area itself. So it's quite important to distill deeper into the numbers and data to make more informed decision for yourself. So looking forward to hear from you guys. We already have seen what is happening in 2025 and also what's going to happen in 2026. Let's take a further look right at what's going to potentially happen in 2027. Of course, I have limited information as of right now, but it's going to be quite interesting. So first up we have is this Tanah Merah plot. So this is at Bedok Rise, and this one should be 2027 supply lah. This one, the tender will only conclude end of this month, so stay tuned for that. I'll be quite curious to see what is the price bidded here, because I think recently, I forgot what was the nearby plot that recently just going to DOP already. But overall, I think it's quite interesting to see what is the pricing for this. The other one, this one is going to be a very popular plot, okay? This is going to be Hougang Central plot. So this is a mixed use development. It's going to be near the MRT. Mixed commercial residential development integrated with bus interchange. Definitely this is going to be a very hot development, and the submission for the tender will close at 16 December 2025. So for those of you right that have been seeing ads about this Hougang Central mixed use development condo, right, come on, this land is not even bidded yet. You don't even know who is the developer. So it's all those agents, they anyhow go and do those ads. By right, this land might not even be bidded You get what I mean? Like, because the tender hasn't even closed yet, definitely there's no information on this development at all, because we don't even know who is the developer. Just based off this, right, and the number of ads that I've been seeing people do, this is a very hot plot, because I think the last plot in Hougang is probably Riverfront Residences and Florence Residences, so that one is already a while back already. Okay, and this one will be quite interesting because it's a mixed-use development and it's gonna be coincide together with the Cross Island Line completion. So I think it's going to be quite interesting for how it pans out in terms of pricing. If I see Parktown already 2003, 2004, right, and it's not so mature as compared to Hougang. 2027, this one is just a very far-fetched number. I'm expecting probably 2005, 2006 PSF starting from if they launch in 2027, and I won't be surprised. And the high floor, right, we could even hit 2009, 3000 PSF. Yeah, you can let me know in the comment section if you think this is a very far-fetched number, but if I see the numbers transacted at, let's say, Riverfront, Florence Residences, I don't think it's going to be that far-fetched, because for Riverfront and Florence, right, they are not near MRT and their price is already 1009 PSF. I think some even 2000 PSF. It's going to be like, I would say, maybe 7 years younger, right beside MRT in a very mature estate. I think it's a reasonable pricing. So now this is the upcoming new launch land bids for the GLS. Over here, this is the confirmed sites on the URA website lah. And then you can see number 10, we have Dairy Farm Walk Plot. So this one is at Hillview MRT area lah. So this one also open for tender this month. And also another Lentor Central plot. So this one Lentor MRT open for tender in December 2025. So very likely these two plots will also form the 2027 OCR New Launch Supply. Okay, so now why I want to look at all these like new launches that's coming up, and then what is the past launches doing like, and also what is going to happen at 2027. I think this is going to be quite important. So today I'm going to be going through with you a Clement resale case study, and I think this is quite important if you guys are still looking around for units in the market. So stay tuned. Now let's take a closer look at Alta itself. So this is bidded by MCL Land and CSC Land. So this one, right, they submitted the highest bid of 1250 PSF PPR for this Clementi Avenue 1 GLS site, and this was concluded in November 7th, 2023. And then we fast forward to February 2025, you can see that they have a very successful launch. 65% sold for Alta at an average price of 2537 PSF. So when you compare, right, you can see we have a time period about 1 year, 3 months and then until the launch. So this is the so-called opportunity if you can spot one. And then the land bid price 1250, if you times 2, we are looking at about 2005 lah. So this is a very simple calculation and timeline if you look at it. But overall, this is what we call the GLS effect. And of course, I think this is a very important framework that I've been sharing with my clients as well. Okay, so now let's take a closer look, right, on what we call the GLS effect using Clement Canopy, the site beside Alta, the resale, as a case study. Okay, you can see I have circled 3 transactions. They are all on stack 5. They are all the 3 bedrooms with 990 square feet layout type. First one we can see is 3rd of May 2023. So this one is on the 37-05, 990 square feet. The sale price is at 1843 PSF. Fast forward about 1 year plus later, we have another transaction, 3rd of September 2024. So this one is on the 25th floor, about 12 floor lower already. Okay, this one is at also same size at 1949 PSF. And last but not least, we have is the most recent transaction on the 5th of June this year, 29th floor, 990 square feet at 2090 PSF. Okay, so all these things, right, you can see I split it up into 3 parts. So one will be the 3rd of May 2023 transaction, right? This is what we also call the pre-tender announcement. So that's why just now I go through with you guys what is coming up in the 2027, the confirmed list, right, on the URA website. This is what I classify under the pre-tender announcement. It's before Alta was actually awarded to the developer. And next up we have is the post-tender announcement already. So when they announced the tender in November 2023, that is what I consider the second phase. And you kind of know the developer pricing already, because you see they bidded the land about 1002 PSF range, and then you just times 2, you already know next year or 1 year plus later, right, they're going to be launching at 2005 plus PSF PPR. So you already can gauge how much the developers will actually price the units. And then last but not least, of course, we have the Alta launch announcement. So this one will be February this year, and they will set a new benchmark in the area itself. So overall, this is what I call the GLS effect, and it's in 3 phases. Okay, so now let's take a close look in the number itself. I'll be using both of these transactions with the reference towards the 5th June transactions. So you can see for the 37th floor on 3rd May 2023, right, it was transacted 8 floor higher than the June this year transaction, and it transacted 25 months earlier. So we are looking at a time of 2 years plus. They entered 247 PSF cheaper, and we are already looking at 244k profits minimum. We haven't even account for the 8th floor difference of height. And next up, we have the 25th floor unit transacted at 3rd of September 2024. So this is considered the post-tender announcement already, and we are looking at almost 10 months since Alta bid has been awarded. So this is 4 floors lower than the most recent transaction, 9 months earlier, and we are looking at 141 PSF cheaper, and this is already clocking in about 100k profits minimally. Okay, in terms of the PSF, because let's say we count for 10k per floor, yeah, so I already kind of adjusted for it, so 100k profits minimally. So of course, with all these numbers and framework, right, I can kind of guide my clients to spot where is potentially the next good buy, because we already know what are the sites coming up for, let's say 2027, and which phase are we actually at in terms of the announcement. These are all very important, because we are at a time where resale is not cheap, new launch is not cheap. I think all the more we need to do all this data and analysis to make informed decisions on where to actually spot a good buy. So of course, with all these frameworks, right, I also can help you guys identify what is a safe entry price in today's resale market and even the new launch market, depending on which market segment you're looking at. So together with a framework for GLS effect analysis, right, and we also come up with a tool, right, called KW Compass 10. It kind of helps us easily compare and shortlist properties in the resale market as well. So over here you can see we have the KW Compass 10 Smart Property Scoring Framework. So here you can kind of see, just based off a glance, right, what is Clement Canopy strong in terms of the property itself. So definitely maybe you can see the transaction volume effect, depreciation resilience effect is much stronger as compared to what we see maybe commuter score effect and location value gap effect. So in all these things, right, you can kind of tell what is the strength of Clement Canopy at a glance and what is the weaknesses. So on top of that, other than Clement Canopy, I'm just using this as an example. We can compare different resale condos, right, at a glance using this like figurative pie chart thing, right? Then you can easily see visually which one this development is stronger at, which one this development is weaker at. Then I think this will help if you are a buyer today or even a seller. Then you know like, oh, my strength when I market the unit, it should be based on this aspect but not based on the other aspect. And also this is the comparison table on how we actually score Clement Canopy. So you can see you got different numbers like investment quantum effect, we have a number of 4, then location value gap effect, we have a number of 2. So of course all this we have a detailed breakdown. You can feel free to WhatsApp me at 84849302 if you find this tool useful for yourself, or you want to find out more about how I actually use this GLS effect framework to help you guys identify what is a good buy in the next 1 to 2 years in the resale market or even in the new launch market. So which sites actually can yield similar returns? This one I've been sharing with some of my clients already, especially those looking in the resale market using this framework. And also on top of that, right, I think it's very important to look at what is already a proven layout facing in the development, right? Then we don't want to break the trend, we just want to follow the trend, because in the end, if we look at historical data, usually those are the ones that tell the story in the resale market. So usually I'll use all this as a main key gauge in my framework, and we'll kind of already know like, this is a more profitable layout in this development versus the other layout. Because I think, let's say even in one development, let's say Clement Canopy, I'm very sure there are layouts that is underperforming, or even the 3-bedroom types that is underperforming certain bedroom types in the same development. So all this is important to already know at a glance before we even consider what development or what you need to buy. On top of that, we still got the pricing analysis as well. So do you want to be ahead of the curve, and also do you want to be the next Clement Canopy resale buyer? I've been looking forward to hear from you guys. My number is 84849302, and thank you for staying to the end of the video. If you like my content so far, you can feel free to leave a like and subscribe, and also you can check out my YouTube channel for similar videos that I've done on the new launch market and also on the private property market. I think this will be all very useful information if you are a seller or even a buyer in the market for the next few months. And that's it for today. Looking forward to hear from you guys. Alright, bye!